So I'm officially obsessed with Hamilton. I tried really hard to stay away from it because I knew that if I let myself in and I listened to it and I watched specials on it, that I would start to get obsessed. And I finally caved and listened to it and watched specials on it, and now I am completely obsessed. I cannot stop listening to the soundtrack. I watched that PBS special that I have on my DVR, and I have not erased it because I'll probably watch it over. I want to read the book that the show was based on. It's happening, guys. I'm done. Hey guys, it's Sarah, and I'm here with my October wrap-up. So October was not the best reading month for me. Towards the end of the month, I really hit a slump. And part of it was because I was really busy. I went out of town for a weekend on a scrapbooking retreat, which was amazing. But I wasn't reading. And then my parents were in town for almost 10 days, I think. And so I wasn't reading all that much then either. So I kind of got into a slump. And anytime I did try to pick up a book, I was just kind of, bleh. So because of that, I only completed 4 books in the month of October. And then I started 2 that I'm still in the middle of and I need to finish up for November. But I'm pretty happy with what I read. So here's what they are. This first book was sent to me from BookTube Tours, which is a way that booktubers can get review books. And I read Dark Horses by Cecily von Ziegesar. And I do have a full review up for this one separately, so I will go ahead and link that down below if you want to check it out. I'll also have links for this book and the author specifically. But this was written by the author of the Gossip Girl series. And I really enjoyed this one. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did, honestly. And it was a new to me author. I'd never read anything by her before, but I really enjoyed it. This follows a troubled teen who is sent to kind of a rehabilitation center that focuses on horses and kind of horse therapy. And she had spent her childhood riding horses, so it was nothing new to her. But the girl and the horse are both kind of troubled, and they kind of find solace in each other. This book is really cool because you also get the perspective from the horse. So each chapter goes back and forth between the girl and the horse, and that was really cool, and that really made me enjoy this book a whole lot. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars, but if you want to see my full review and more of my thoughts on it, I will leave it down below. But 4 stars, it was good. The next book that I read was also sent to me from the publisher for review, and that is The Sixth Idea by PJ Tracy. This is actually the 7th book in a series called the Monkey Wrench series. And these are a series where you don't have to read the rest of the books in order to enjoy them. You can still read them and follow along and not really be lost in them. But this follows 2 detectives in Minneapolis, and they are trying to figure out a series of murders that are happening. They don't seem to be connected, but it turns out that they are, and they're trying to figure out what this connection is and why it's important. And a lot of it has to do with the hydrogen bomb that was developed in the 50s, I think it was, or 40s or 50s. So like all that stuff is somehow important today, and no one really understands why. This was pretty good. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. So it was kind of a mixed bag for me. One of the problems is I listened to this on audiobook, and the narrator was really weird and had really weird accents, and I just didn't enjoy the narrator very much. So that it didn't really affect the story, obviously, but I didn't enjoy like listening to it all that much. But yeah, it was fine. The characters were really good. I liked the characters most definitely in this one. But I also have a full review video up for this one too. So if you want to see kind of more of my thoughts and all that stuff, you can click down below. But yeah, it was middle of the road for me. The next book that I read was also sent to me from BookTube Tours, and that is The Last of the Firedrakes by Farah Oomerbhoy. Now, this one is really long. The length kind of intimidated me a little bit, but honestly, this was really good. This is a YA fantasy, and it's about a girl who is living in today's world in London, and then she happens to travel to a different realm that she did not know existed, and finds out that she's actually the last descendant of her royal family, and there is an evil person who is in power there, and she's in power because everyone assumes that this girl and her family are all completely dead. So she's kind of realizing that she is the last descendant and that the throne is rightfully hers. Pretty good. I really enjoyed it. More than I thought it would. The only thing, I gave this one 4 stars. I took a star off because the writing is not very good. It's pretty basic. The story was really good though. So the story is what kept me going, kept me wanting to keep reading. And, I want to read the second one now as well. But seriously, the writing it was pretty repetitive. And I kept reading the same sentences over and over. And I was like, okay. So that was my only criticism on this. I just really feel like the writing could have been better, or it could have been edited a little bit better. It didn't have to be so repetitive and all that. But the story is really good. I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to pick up the second one when it comes out and see where the story goes. But yes, I also have a full review video up for this one too. So I'll leave that link down below. But I really like this one. And the last book that I completed in the month of October is Turncoat by Jim Butcher. This is book number 11 in the Dresden Files series. And the Dresden Files is an urban fantasy, and it follows a man named Harry Dresden who lives in Chicago. He is a wizard detective. So his basic line of work is a detective. People can come in and hire him to do detective work, but he's also a wizard, and he actually ends up working really closely with the Chicago Police Department in their, I can't remember what it's called, like special crimes or something like that, something like supernatural stuff that no one is supposed to know about, and even half the cops on the squad don't even really believe in this stuff. But there was enough proof that something is out there that they needed something like this. So Harry Dresden works really closely with them and helps them with all their supernatural crimes that kind of pop up and become public. So really enjoyed this one, gave this one 4 stars. I listened to the audiobook of this one as well, actually, while I was driving to my retreat because I had a 6-hour drive. So 6 hours there, 6 hours back, I was listening to this book. And I really liked it. These audiobooks are really, really good. They're read by James Marsters, and he's really, really good. So I started out this series reading all the books, and then a few books ago, I started listening to the audiobooks, and I'm done. Like, I will listen to the audiobooks from now on because they are that good. So I really enjoyed this one. I won't go into details because it is book number 11, but of course, Harry finds himself in the middle of a crazy supernatural fight, and it's really good. Harry is a wonderful character. He's so funny, and I love this series. It's a really, really great series. If you like urban fantasy and you haven't read these, I would highly, highly recommend them. It's one of the more popular ones, so for good reason, but yeah, really good. 4 stars. I'm also in the middle of 2 review books right now, and these are taking me a little bit longer to get through than I thought, which is not the fault of the books. The books are really good. It's just the fault of me because I got into a slump. The first one is Shaken by Tim Tebow, and I'm on page 52 of this, and it's not a very long book, so I know I could push through it really quickly. It is really, really good. It's about, shaping your foundation around Christ. But I just, I got into a slump and haven't wanted to pick anything up really. So, but he's sitting on my nightstand staring at me every night. Tim Tebow. And the last book that I am in the middle of, which I plan on finishing up here in the next couple days, is The Broken Way by Anne Voskamp. This is a spiritual book as well. Anne Voskamp is a wonderful Christian writer. And this is all about living your life in a broken way, which is kind of necessary in order to be a Christian. You can't go into life expecting everything to be unicorns and rainbows, whether you're a Christian or not. Your life is always going to be broken, and that's just how we're made. So it's kind of coming to terms with that and how you can take your brokenness and turn it around and use it for good. It is very good so far. I had one night where I picked it up and I just could not get enough of it because it really was speaking to me in a way that was so relevant to my life right now. I'm dealing with someone in my life that is making things difficult. So I'm trying to have grace, and I'm trying to understand that this is not my fault, and just to take a step back and to not get angry and to not lash out at anything because it's not my place. And that's where I'm trying to be right now, because of course our natural instinct when we get personally hurt is to lash out and to get angry and to hurt them back. And I really don't want to do that. So there were a couple of chapters in here that were just completely speaking to me in that way. And I just went, oh, this is perfect. So, I am really, really enjoying this. I'm more than halfway through, so I will definitely be finishing this up in the next day or two, but yes, and this is coming up in my book haul, so spoiler alert. And that is it for October. So I did want to try to have more reviews up in October, and it just didn't happen, unfortunately. I got way too busy. But coming up here in November, you will definitely be seeing a couple of reviews for me, especially for Shaken and The Broken Way. And yes, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys read in October. What was your favorite? What was your least favorite? Did you have any surprises? Did you have any letdowns? I'd love to hear all about those. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I will be back tomorrow with my November TBR. Talk to you guys then.